Hello and welcome to another macro video. Today we're looking at spelling conversion from UK to US or vice versa, but the same would apply to any other English language, Australian, Canadian, Indian, so it's just converting from one to the other by changing spellings. So in order to do this we're going to use FRedit. So our assumption, or my assumption, is that you've either used FRedit or you can use it or you want to learn, and if it's new to you, then just to give you the basic principle, if you look at these pairs of words you can probably see what the idea is, that you're wanting to change from one word to the other, and we can do this within a document. We can do it globally. So what we do is we open a file that contains this list. We open our target file, the file that's going to be edited and have the spelling changed, and then we run FRedit, and that's the basic way that FRedit works. So we're going to do spelling conversion. Two methods. The first one is what you might call a brute force method. In the FRedit library, that's the set of sample FRedit lists that come with the FRedit package. It's got some lists for UK to US and vice versa, but they're long lists with over 700 items. That means they'll probably be slow, and I would guess that the list won't be complete. When you try to use it, you'll find words that it misses, and so you'll have to add them to the list, which is fine, and maybe you'd send me the updated list when you find more words. But my second method, which is kind of more interesting anyway and can be used more widely when you're using FRedit in your work, is what I would call a targeted conversion. And this saves time, particularly when you're working on a book, because it'll be in chapters and you'll work on a chapter at a time. So if you've got to do that great long FRedit list of 700 items just for the spelling, as well as all the other things you want to change with FRedit, then it's going to be a bit slow. Right, the example text we're going to use is a UK-based book that we want to convert for US readers. You might recognize the book when you see it. It has 12 chapters. And what we're going to do first of all is to take those chapter files and combine them into one single file, so that we've got all the words that occur somewhere in the whole book, and from that we can create a list of spelling errors using our spelling error lister macro, and that will be all the things that Microsoft Word thinks are spelling errors. Okay, we know it'll include some words which aren't spelling errors, but we can deal with that. And the aim of that then is to create a FRedit list for the job, and to do that we'll use a macro called spelling suggest and another one called FRedit list process. Then the next step is to edit chapter by chapter, so we'll run FRedit on the first chapter and then we'll go through it and edit it. Then we'll do the next chapter, we'll FRedit it, and then we'll edit it. Okay, so let's have a try. Get all the files together by using the multi-file text macro. So let's run mu multi-file text run. Okay, so navigate to the folder that we want and press cancel. So, well, we're already there. That is the folder we want with our 12 chapters, so cancel. Collect them from there, yes, okay. So it goes through loading them all one by one until we've got a set of 12 chapters all nicely combined together. Here we go. Right, and we can use find forward if we want to go through. It seems to be suggesting that all the files, I made a mistake. I combined all the files. I forgot to take out the ones I didn't want. Never mind, it doesn't matter. It still illustrates the process. Okay, so we then run the what do we do? Where are we up to? Spelling error lister. to create a list. So that is, we run spelling error lister, there it is, run using US spelling. Okay, yes, that's right, and off we go, and it creates a list. We won't do it now because obviously it will take a little while. So here's one I prepared earlier. Let's get rid of the list of files and let's load the file that we want, which is our spelling errors file. Here we go. Right, so this is the list that it would have prepared for us if we'd allowed it to go through. And we then use the spelling suggest macro on each of these. Arum is a funny word in the document. Beauty is another funny word. Chamomile, well, that's not right, is it? However, actually, Microsoft Word doesn't know the alternative for that, so we can just pop the H in there. Centre it'll get, I assume. Yeah. Chat, well, that's French. I won't leave that. Clamour, din, est, favoured, favourite, flavour, honour, neighbouring, there we go, quarrelled, recognised, uglify. Some of you will have spotted what the book is if you didn't see it in the chapter file. And then these proper nouns, or at least the words starting with an initial capital, we can ignore all of those. So we've got some words here that are going to want to be changed and others need to be ignored. So if we click in that first one and run FRedit list process, FRedit list process, there we go, then it goes through and it's thrown up that because I was playing around with it. Okay, let's sorry, there we go. Right, it's done that. Sorry, that was a little interruption. Okay, so that's what the macro has produced, and we can, if we run it again down here, it'll just wipe those all out because they haven't got alternative spellings, therefore they're not needed in the list. So we've now got things like centre. So that version there is saying only change centre as a single word, and the line above is saying centre. If it occurs somewhere, just highlight it, replace it with the same thing, but just add not highlight but colour so that we can see that. Okay, so we can run that on the file, on our chapter file, and it'll make the changes. So let's, if we do it actually on the whole file, just so you can see a few more things change. So if we open all text, and then we'll run it on that, there you go, down the rabbit hole. I think Alice was beginning to get tired, so you recognise that, hopefully. Okay, so we click in the document and run FRedit. So run FRedit, here we go, run, and it has balked at this list here because this isn't a FRedit list, because this thing here is not part of a list. It doesn't have a pad character, the vertical bar character. So try again. I'll do it from the keystroke. There we go, and it's done that. So what have we got here? Well, if I look through with change next, I should find some changes, but I don't because I forgot to switch on track changes. That was the other point about this, was that the strike through ones are not track changed, whereas the others will be. So if we try that again, all text, this time we'll remember to switch on track changes and then run FRedit, and hopefully now we will have something to search through with change next. There we go. Let's just make that a bit smaller so we can see both the text and the changes. So centre has been changed there, and flavour and favoured in the different chapters. Obviously the different words are going to be in the different chapters. Okay, so far so good. So let's put that out of the way. We can put that out of the way. We do have, however, a slight snag. Sorry, I was using change next. I was just telling you that. The slight snag is that you can't rely on Word's spell checker when it comes to US and UK words, as you will see. Here's a set of words, and we are currently down here. It says English United Kingdom. So if I switch on the visible spelling errors, so of those, all it's got, I'll just put that one. You can see I was using I'm going to use language set UK and US, and I use spelling show toggle just to switch the visible spelling on. So that's in UK English. It thinks chamomile is a correct English spelling, and fulfill with one L and practicing with a C. It thinks those are correct spellings. Okay, fine. If we change over to US spelling, then it recognizes ISING as a spelling error and chamomile rather than chamomile. So that's just warning you that the spelling error will not spot all the UK and US errors. So what I want to finally say is that it would be really helpful if someone would create a list. It only needs to be a relatively short FRedit list of the words like chamomile and practicing and so on, fulfill, which are in error, words that Microsoft Word does not spot, the errors that it does not spot. So any volunteers to do that for us would be great. Okay, that's it. We've got file conversion. Any queries, do get in touch, and I'll see what I can do. Okay, bye for now.